Yo, what's up? What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Scorpion Deathlock podcast. And oh man, we got one for you guys today. Obviously, going over yesterday's Royal Rumble 2024. We're going to be basically just going over the entire show from the different matches that were on the card, including the women's Royal Rumble match as well as the men's. And where does these storylines kind of go now that we have the results in for the winners of each match and what to see? And I'm blessed to be on here with the host, Mike. What's up, man?
Co-host, what's going on? Yes, Mike the Biz here, aka B-Tech Mike, whatever you want to call. We're in my
man of many phones.
Yes,
man of many phones.
Currently, like I always like to play with my foldable devices. Look at that. It's currently charging the Motorola Razr. Yeah, so yeah, but yeah, everything's good, man. And I enjoyed the Rumble last night. You know, a lot of people were kind of complaining about it, which we can get into, right? But you know, I was able to go to work yesterday, and then I came home with a few pizzas, got to sit down and relax and do my thing. And it's interesting because like I was at last year's Rumble, so like I definitely know the feeling of being there in such a big environment. I think the Alamo Dome had about 55,000. So I know the Florida Stadium or arena, whatever it was, had about 48. So I think that's a pretty solid number for a big four pay-per-view. That's not WrestleMania, basically. It's not like one of those 100,000 seat stadiums, but still very, very good. But yeah, I mean, if you want to get into it, you know, definitely we started off with the female Rumble for this year's Rumble this year.
Oh yeah. It was, you know what, like I would overall I would say about the Rumble, I think like one thing that did kind of let me down. This was both pertaining to the women's and men's.
Yeah.
Was the amount of shock entrance, right? I mean, we had Naomi number 2. I mean, I'm glad to see her back. You know what I mean? I was kind of like, I was halfway let down. Yet I kind of understand why. Oh man, right when I go live, I get
it's all right.
But you know, I was hoping for Sasha Banks' return. I was really hoping for Sasha Banks, but that didn't happen.
There's a few notables, so yeah, I definitely agree that there was not a lot of shock factor that went into this year's Rumble event when it came to some of the entrants. We got a few surprises in the female, one being Naomi, the other being the TNA Knockouts champion. Which I need to get the name here. Jordan Grace, I believe, right? She was at number 5, and she actually lasted pretty much most of the time, right? You know, there was a few moments, right? You had, R-Truth coming in and mistaking this as the men's Rumble, which a lot of people kind of predicted would happen now that he's back, right? You had Bianca Belair, who's kind of like been kind of one of the female faces of the company the last couple of years. And of course, Bailey in at number 3, Naomi at number 2, right? I have the whole list here, right here, of actual entrants, right? But towards the end, right, again, we were kind of waiting for that, like, let's get that shock factor going here, right? A lot of people did. Yeah, a lot of people were hoping AJ Lee. That's the name that I was actually. Oh, yeah. That's the name that I was like, hey, like, let's freaking go. Like, I was waiting for it. But I think if you watch the pre-show, which I got to see a little bit of towards the end, they interviewed CM Punk, and CM Punk was saying, that he was on the phone with Larry, his dog, right? So who else would be in his home taking care of Larry, right? So that kind of gave away that she wasn't going to be in the Rumble, right? Because she was at home taking care of the dog, obviously, right? Which kind of sucks, right? Because, now that Punk's back, that's having AJ Lee back in WWE is going to be more of a thing now. Now, if and when that's going to happen, right? I think, we all have to see when that's going to happen, if she considers it, right? One of the big pops that we did get was Jade Cargill towards the end at number 28. She definitely has that aura and presence to her. And if you watch the Rumble, no spoilers, right? But we're going to say it anyways. She single-handedly eliminated Nia Jax. Okay,
That was awesome.
hopefully Nia Jax's hole didn't hurt, by the way, from the
Oh
elimination.
yeah.
but yeah, I think it got good halfway through. I think we were all very impressed with Jordan Grace. Chelsea Green's spots were also very hilarious.
Yeah.
Where she gets knocked out and Piper Niven catches her, and Piper like pretends that she's gonna drop her, which I thought was just hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, you had a few little good moments. Zelina Vega and her cosplay. I think she was cosplaying like a Gundam Wing.
Yeah.
Some sort of, I think it was Gundam or Evangelion. I'm not 100% sure. She didn't. I don't think she posted up on it. I need to go back and check. Right. But for the most part, yeah, it was entertaining to me. Bianca Belair, the stare down with her and Jade was pretty awesome. I think you have to have at least one or two of those stare downs in the Rumble, because it's like you're meeting. I mean, even though it's not really the Forbidden Door, because now Jade is in WWE, right? You kind of look at it and just say, damn, like look at where we're at, 2024, and how the wrestling landscape has changed over the last couple of years, especially with a lot of people defecting from the All Elote show over there. You know what I mean? Or the All. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know what you want to call it, right? we can get into that later. But I guess my question to you is, what was your favorite part of the female Rumble?
My favorite part actually was Jade Cargill coming out.
Yeah.
I give it that only because like I've seen what she's done in AEW.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen like how they used her in that brand, and then to see her to come to WWE, like we knew she was coming to WWE. We seen all the back scene stuff with her, Triple H, and it was just a matter of time for her to debut in.
Yeah.
The way that she came in the Rumble, like I don't know if most people were kind of looking at it in that context. I know because my daughter and I watched the Royal Rumble last night. She looked at it in that way. She saw potential storylines for Jade Cargill that would actually be decent. Hello.
Okay, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna. Can I mute you? Give me a thumbs up when you're ready. Hello, can you hear me? Hold on. Hello. Okay, hold on. Can you hear me? I can't hear you. Small technical difficulties, by the way. Okay, hold on. Let me remove you from the stream really quick while you get that situated. He's going to come back. So, yeah, just going back, again, Tito said him and his daughter were watching, right? Yeah, there is definitely a lot of storylines that we can kind of get into, right? First of all, Jade, right? Like, she had a few face downs, right? And a few encounters there. Let's take a look. Hello? I still can't hear you, boss. You might want to check your, or maybe it's me. Hold on, let's see. Maybe it's my headphones. Hold on. Let me change my output here.
You hear me now?
Okay, there you go. I can hear you now. Yes.
This has happened to me lately with, I don't know what it is with Restream and my microphone.
Yeah.
Like when my microphone's plugged in, it defaults to my JLab Go mic, but then I have into the settings and then go to the other one it shows two of them, and it's like it's weird.
Oh wow, okay.
My bad. Did that blow out your ear? Did you hear the sound?
Yeah, I heard the feedback and I was like, oh sheesh, like this is kind of hurting a little bit, but it's okay.
Yeah, freaking Vince McMahon trying to ruin my shit. No.
Vinnie Mac over here doing his job with Bruce Pritchard, I guess.
He's over there. He's like, how dare you talk about that? Yeah. Anyways,
right, for real.
What I was saying was my daughter, she had spotted basically potential storylines that would actually look good for Jade Cargill. Obviously, the stare down with Bianca Belair, as you mentioned, was one that had the fans kind of going.
Yeah.
Her eliminating basically Nia Jax, I mean, the irresistible force against Jade Cargill. But you also seen where certain people who have hype behind them can actually really test themselves, right? Like the man Becky Lynch going into a feud with Jade Cargill will actually test Becky Lynch's status as being on the top, and allowing Jade Cargill the opportunity to climb the mountain to get to the top by facing someone as big as Becky Lynch. There's just a lot of potential with Jade Cargill, and we don't really know where her stance is going to be. Again, she just debuted in the Rumble. We don't know if she's a face or she's a heel.
And plus, I'm not sure if she's just going to automatically debut now that, she was in the Rumble, right? She might not come out for a good minute. We'll see, right? And again, going back to like storylines and feuds, yes, she can potentially feud with Nia Jax. Again, Bianca Belair, right? Maybe even Becky Lynch, like you said, right? There was a few interactions on the floor, right? A few that were just like, ooh, okay. But overall, I guess for me, like standouts were like females like Tiffany Stratton and Roxanne Paris, right? That were are from NXT, right? So I don't know if this is one of those deals where, we've been seeing Roxanne, I think the last couple of years. I believe she was in last year's Female Rumble as well. I didn't see Tiffany last year, but Tiffany should have probably been in last year as well. Cause like, even though she's only been doing this for like a couple of years, which is amazing, that she's just adapted to the business so well. Everyone's saying that she's basically the next Charlotte Flair, which I don't think so in a specific context. Right. But she is her own person. She is her own character, etc. like that. I think she's in some ways better than Charlotte Flair, but that's just my opinion. Right. But yeah, no, like just a lot of different little things. We obviously going back to and we got to give credit where credit's due. Bayley, right, who had the longest time in a female Rumble, beating Rhea's time from last year, by the way, I think by a few minutes, because I think Rhea had an hour and 1 minute. And I believe, I believe Bayley had an hour and 3 minutes, but also another standout, Naomi, right? This is her first match back in WWE. She went in as number 2. She was actually the one with the second record longest time of an hour and 2 minutes, right? And of course, I think she was like one of the final like 4 or 5 participants. So key thing for me in this match is there was a few spots that I really enjoyed that were happening where people were hanging off of the actual ring apron itself. Kairi Sane, for instance, she was doing some sort of like Spider-Man hold or whatever. It was just ridiculous. I think they botched it though. Sadly, I think she was actually supposed to hold herself up, but I think in the end, like she ended up just letting go or whatever. Because I think both of her feet did. Yeah, both of her feet did actually hit the ground at first, though, and then she kind of like lifted it and like just to make sure the camera wasn't catching it right. But in any case,
the camera was on it anyways. The cameraman totally botched that one. Like, but that was crazy. Like, I agree with you on that. Like, I was watching that part, and my daughter's like, "Was she supposed to grab the bottom ropes?" I'm like, "I don't know, maybe not." But she's doing a good job. I'm like, "Hold on, Kairi," and then I see Asuka try to like help her. And I was like, oh, it's just not going to work. She doesn't have the leverage.
That was actually interesting that Asuka and Kairi were actually eliminated pretty early on from the match. Like not even halfway through. They were both maybe in there about like 10 minutes. And I was just like, what's going on? Because I was like, I kind of had the perception that maybe they were going to kind of gang up on Bayley, right? And there was going to be some sort of like disruption when it came to damage control, because like if you watch SmackDown and you pay attention, there's been little spots here and there where see it. The Asian portion of the faction is kind of not catering to her, and Bayley's the one that's catering to everybody else, right? So she's kind of being like the oddball out, even though this is her faction, and she's technically, in my eyes, she was the leader of Damage Control, right? I don't know.
Yeah, she was.
I don't know if anyone else thinks that, right? Ever since
it's a great storyline. Like,
it's a good storyline. Anyways, any notable spots for you that you enjoyed in the match?
I mean, notable spots. Not really, other than Jade Cargill coming in and Naomi's return, but I think the way like answering Gene's thing here, he's like he wished Becky Lynch or Bianca won it, and like I mean that would be like a typical thing that people would want. I wanted Bayley to win from the very beginning, only because I do want to see this feud between her and Io Sky, and like the not an implosion of Damage Control, because like Mike said, you guys can already see, if you watch SmackDown, you can already see that there is a rip in Damage Control where the actual body of the faction is separating from the leader of the faction. Yeah. And Bayley's being kept out of plans, kept out of conversations. Like you just see her always like, hey, what's going on, guys? And Dakota's like trying to like cover up, by like letting Bayley know everything's good. But you can see it in Io Sky's face. You can see it with the Kabuki Warriors, Asuka and Kairi. Yeah. So I think this is perfect that Bailey won because it sets it up. Like, yes, she says vaccine. I was watching this on TikTok. She's wearing a Rhea Ripley shirt stating that she's going to challenge Rhea for the women's heavyweight championship. But we can see where Io's not going to trust Bailey, and they're going to push it to where Bailey's going to choose Io Sky at WrestleMania. Like, I see it happening.
Yeah, and I think the reason being is because I think most likely it's going to be Becky and Rhea at WrestleMania, probably. Or I'm not sure. I mean, I feel like that's where that's going to head as far as the women's title go. Like that's where they want it to go. But who knows? I mean, now that you have females like Jade in the picture, who knows? I feel like the female. Oh, hello, what is that? Do you hear that? We might have another special guest in the house. Let's take a look here. What is going on?
What's up, man?
Well, this is a long time coming.
Right? About a year in the making. Oh no, hello. There we go. Let's get this triple setup. Yeah, we'll get this a triple setup over here. We'll put Mill
Larry in the background.
We'll put Mill.
That's my dog. That's my dog in the background.
We'll put Mill Hustles in the middle over here. Welcome, Mill Hustles. We just finished discussing the female side of the Rumble. Where we're kind of still talking about it, but we want to get your thoughts and opinion on it. Also, any favorite spots or any favorite entries in the match itself?
I liked it better than the men's Rumble. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, I agree.
Lots of nice surprises. Jade Cargill, Jordan Grace.
Jordan Grace was a dominant in this match. By the way.
You know what sucks though, man? Like Jordan Grace just signed a contract with TNA for 2 more years in September, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure with the way that people reacted to her, she's gonna be like, "Damn it, I should not have signed. I should have waited."
Well, you never know. I think she posted a tweet saying that this isn't the last time that she's gonna possibly have an interaction with the WWE. So you never know. We might see her again in next year's Female Rumble. Who knows?
Yeah,
a possibility.
Yeah.
Sure.
Or maybe now that with Vince gone, maybe there's going to be more room for Forbidden Door entries as far as matches go, especially at big live events. I would say maybe the Big Four events. I don't think about regular PLEs, but definitely Big Four events. I could see them bringing in other talent from time to time, and just doing it. Fuck it. Why not? Right. The company is called World Wrestling Entertainment. World meaning like all over the world. Right. So bring people in, man. I mean, that's what they used to do in the early 90s and late 80s anyways.
Yeah, that would be great.
Are you on the road, Mill Hustles?
I parked. I'm at my site.
Oh, okay, you're already out there. Yeah, so he's like, I'm gonna drive to work an hour early. So I was like, okay, sounds good. He's got downtime for a little bit. So, but yeah, again, standouts for me were Tiffany Stratton, right? Let me see who else. Most of them I feel like most of them, like the crowd wasn't giving reactions to most of the competitors, right? But again, standouts for me were like Chelsea Green, Tiffany, Jade, obviously, a little bit of Roxanne. Can't forget Zoe Starks, even though she didn't really make much of an impact this year compared to last year. I believe they've kind of, ever since her Trish angle kind of died down last year, they really haven't been using her. She's just been teaming with Shayna Baszler, and really nobody cares about that. I mean, we'll see if that goes anywhere or not. And of course, your wild card at the very end and a runner-up for the second year in a row, Liv Morgan at number 30.
Oh my God! Yeah.
A lot of people were mentioning that Liv Morgan,
Liv 420.
Yeah, she again, second year in a row. Last year it was with her and Rhea, and now this year again, her. That last spot towards the end was pretty entertaining to me, where you had all 3 girls on the outside, and you had Jade in the middle, you had Liv on one side and Bailey on the other, and they were both kind of like trying to knock her out, and then Bailey gets knocked back into the corner, and she kind of falls over, and I'm like, oh shit, is Bailey gonna lose, right? That's what I was thinking.
They made Jade look really good.
Yeah.
Like, really
I agree.
Good. And I can tell that training that she's gotten from HBK, like it's just a huge difference compared to her stuff in AEW.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you definitely seen that, man. That she, like I said it earlier before you jumped on, she looked good. I mean, just everything, like her technique, just also like her, I guess I would call it role play, right? Keeping the character going, like with her and Nia Jax, her standoff with Bianca Belair, which was a good tease because they technically didn't go at it. Well, fans were like, "Oh shit,"
they separated them.
Yeah, which is good because it like you get that reaction from the crowd, and you know what card to play down the road. Like, okay, we need to work on this, or this is a storyline we need to build upon. Like, it's a great way to kind of get that reaction from the fans.
One thing AEW did right with her, in my opinion, is they gave her a manager and like a small entourage. I think they should do that again.
They might.
Possible. I mean,
they might.
Who knows? I'd be interested to see who would want to manage Jade, or who they would bring in to manage her in WWE, right?
MVP.
Right. MVP. I mean, hey, he's still managing Omos. You know, imagine Omos and Jade like together, like crazy.
That wouldn't be that bad. That wouldn't be that bad of an idea, because I feel like if she had MVP in her corner, he could give her a lot of advice.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Well, yeah, it was good, man.
Cool. Hell yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know, man.
Yeah. Well, going back to the Rumble, I favorably enjoyed the female Rumble a lot more than the men's. Right? We'll get a little more into the men's Rumble in a bit. Any last comments on the female Rumble, fella, before we move on to the next match, which is the Fatal 4-Way for the WWE Universal Championship?
It's gonna be sad to see Bayley get jumped by Damage Control.
I do want to mention one thing that I hate to mention it, right? Because I feel like the females did do a very good job, but there was several spots where they just didn't work out. For instance, Maxine Dupree, for instance, was trying to do the like little, I guess the twirl around. I think who was it? I think Bayley was the one that dropped her the first time. So Bayley picked her up. She was trying to do the move. It didn't work out. She just dropped her. Or she didn't drop her, but she just kind of botched the move. And then again, they try it again, and it was just worse the second time around, right?
Did you see when Bianca jumped over the rope and slipped a little bit?
I don't recall, honestly.
Yeah, she jumped on the top rope and she slipped a bit, and it threw her off. Like, it took her like a minute or two to get her composure back. But yeah, that was crazy. But stuff happens. Like, honestly, like that long ass braid of hers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I was in management, I'd tell her, look, I need you to cut that a little bit, because I'm afraid that thing's gonna get you injured, or worse. You could get scalped. I don't want that to happen. I would ask her, can you trim that thing a little bit for your safety? Because I saw a lot of close calls with that damn braid yesterday.
Yeah, I've always been concerned about her braid, and eventually if it's gonna like be the downfall of her, like on a real injury, not a storyline injury, but a real one. So yeah, I agree with you.
I've never been super into the braid, honestly. Like I think at this point she probably doesn't need it. It's just more of like a thing that they just want her to have. But I'm just like, she
needs a new look.
She hasn't used it as a weapon in a while.
Yeah, she doesn't slap people with it. It was more when she was like kind of a heel back in her NXT days.
Yeah,
but not so much anymore. And it's like, well, I feel like it just kind of gets in the way, especially when she's doing like her acrobatic stunts or her flips and whatnot. I'm just like, really, like
how she hit Sasha Banks with it at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That shit, you heard that. I don't know if that was an effect or they hit her for real. I did leave a mark.
Fake.
Jesus.
It was fake. Ooh.
See, that's what wrestling. This is what the wrestling business is missing. If you can't tell if it's a work or a shoot, that's what I love about wrestling.
Yeah.
Unlike that one spot. What was the spot that I was complaining about yesterday?
With Alba Fire, where she like picked up the two girls, right?
That was horrible.
Yeah, that was really bad. Yeah, I wanted to mention that one also. Yeah, I was just like
so phony. Like the girl in the back, the second girl, she literally let herself get picked up and dropped on her face. Did that in a real fight? No.
Be like, okay, let's just do it just for the spot, right? Like, fuck it, let's go.
Will anyone notice? That's the thing. Will anyone notice?
Well, everyone that was watching on TV, maybe not the people in the actual arena, right? But either way, I thought overall, I give the I'll let's go ahead and grade this, right? I'll give the Women's Rumble an A for effort.
A for effort.
A for effort, yeah. Or I'll give it like a 9 out of 10, basically.
Yeah, I'll give it the same. I'll give it the same, like a 9 out of 10. Honestly, like I was more entertained with the women's Rumble than anything else.
What is the rating for the work, the presentation?
I think probably a little bit of everything. I mean, it was more of the the work and the presentation, but also like some of the little pops and features that were initiated in the Rumble, like R-Truth showing up, even though he wasn't supposed to be in it, which we all kind of expected he was.
I love
what's the name of that little short girl that did the suplex with Jordan Grace at the same time?
Jordan Grace. Was it Tegan Knox or not?
No, the bodybuilder girl that's like 5 feet tall.
Oh, Ivy Niles. That's who you're talking about.
That girl has a world of potential, dude. And honestly, like, if you remember, I think on our last show, I said if she was only a couple inches taller, like that's a mega star there. That's what Jordan Grace is. She's Jordan Grace, but shorter, dude.
Yeah. In fact, I think she wasn't. I don't know if she was one of the people they brought in from AEW actually, because I know her and Jade took pictures after the match, and there was like a little interview, like or whatever, saying like, "Oh, like we're here now. Look at us now, like from a few years ago." You know what I mean?
So I think she was on AEW Dark.
Yeah, I think she did some AEW Dark matches back in the day. So I was like, well, I don't know if she was ever contracted, but I mean, AEW or WWE picked up the picked her up and threw her in NXT for a little bit with the Creed brothers, and now she's on the main roster within a couple of years. So hey, that says something.
Yeah,
that's all I got.
All right, fellas, let's move on to the next match, which would be the Fatal 4-Way with Reigns versus LA Knight versus Orton versus Styles. So first of all, I always love world title matches because I like how they intro the competitors. Everyone had their own entrance, right? In this case, Roman Reigns was actually being stared down by like everybody before the match, like Randy Orton, LA Knight, and then AJ Styles all walked up to him and kind of just gave him like, the stink eye or the dirty looks. So I definitely enjoyed that part of the match. But honestly, like this match really was probably the worst match of the night for me. Yeah,
it was. No, it's not just for you. It was. It was trash. It was just. First of all, let me just say this. And anyone that like thought Roman was gonna drop his belt, like keep dreaming. That ain't happened until Mania, and that ain't happened until Cody Rhodes. Mm-hmm. But like, honestly, no offense, like AJ, I like AJ, LA Knight. He's got this boom happening, and more power to him. But honestly, I felt this should have just been a Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns. Put the other two out. It just took away so much from the match for me that literally I got up from the match to go get me something to eat. Just that's how off I was from even watching it. It was trash.
Yeah, really. I had no investment in the match just because, like, I mean, I knew what the outcome was going to be. I knew that Solo or Jimmy was going to get involved somehow. I mean, who was surprised to see Solo halfway through the match, right? There was not really
no shock.
The only notable spots that I really recall was Randy Orton like RKOing everybody, like within like seconds. Like he did Styles, LA Knight, and then Roman Reigns when he was like mid-air doing like the Superman punch or something like that. And that was pretty much it. A few spots outside that were really not too crazy, but it's like I expected a little more from this match. I expected like tables or chairs or something. When it's a fatal 4-way, that means anything goes, right? You can use weapons. And I don't know why WWE is just kind of getting away from that. They're not making these matches interesting like they usually were a few years back, right? I feel like
Roman's not interesting. That's why. Like, okay, I liked him as a heel. I liked when he switched to a heel, but now it's played out. Like they've extracted. If you want to talk about making an orange juice by using a juicer and Roman's the orange, you just squeezed out every last drop months ago out of him. You're not going to get any more. It's done. So
here's my perspective. I have seen this match like 40 times already.
Wait, what?
It's the same match that Roman has been in every time he's in a 3-way or 4-way. So it was like, wait a minute, have I seen this match before? Because there's really nothing different.
I think they've had triple threats and a fatal 5-way at one point, I think.
Yeah, so they were like, this has never happened a 4-way.
Yeah, but a 4-way hasn't happened.
Matches. I just felt like I've seen this match before. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
There's nothing that can come out of it. They've taken everything out that they could out of Roman. He brings no value anymore unless he drops that belt. That's the only thing.
I don't know if there's a news report about it, but I think that since the Women's Rumble went so long, I think that they got told the last minute, hey guys, you're gonna have to shed 5-10 minutes, just do your thing, and that just throws everybody off.
Possible.
I think had they had the proper time, maybe it would have been a little better. And at the same time, Randy AJ and Roman all have great chemistry when they wrestle. LA Knight's kind of new in the fold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there were times I felt like LA looked a little lost.
Yeah.
In the match, but it wasn't the worst match I ever seen, but it just wasn't like I've got this match already.
Mm-hmm.
A beatdown on Roman, like what they started in the beginning of the match, if they had kept that chemistry going through, I think would have kind of saved it a little bit. Like not overdoing it where all three are always ganging on Roman, but just kind of going to that point just to spot it and spike it a little bit. But once they started going like, picking their own man and battling out, I mean, the only point that I even thought that something was going to drastically pop out of all of it was when AJ got the chair. But it was slightly a little lackluster on that. From that point, I was like,
Also, I'm always shocked to see when AJ pulls off his with his top rope finisher, that elbow that he does from the top rope or whatever.
Oh, the phenomenal forearm.
Yeah, the phenomenal forearm. Anytime he gets that done, I'm like, wow, like he finally actually pulled it off, right? Because I feel like that move is just kind of a joke now, and you don't really see him do. You really don't see him do too many finishes with his styles clash anymore. Maybe like once in a blue moon he'll pull it out, right? But really, he kind of depends on the forearm, and if that doesn't work out, then he almost always loses the match or whatever. So in this case, right, AJ Styles was the one that got pinned, and we all knew it was either going to be him or LA Knight. Like I figured it was going to be LA Knight, right, because he's like the most inexperienced when it comes to all of these, especially a big match like that, right? So I was like, okay, LA Knight is going to have to be the one that gets the pinfall. It's somehow, right? Something's going to happen. But I was honestly surprised it was AJ Styles.
I think it'll set up for a feud between him and LA Knight to continue on through Mania. I think that's where I see it going.
Possible. I mean, a lot of people were wanting LA Knight to kind of defer to the mid card title, right? With the Logan Paul and the United States champion. I can still see that happening. I don't know exactly when that's going to happen. Who knows? I mean, we're going to see the Elimination Chamber in a month, so who knows exactly where what specific title it's going to be for, right? Sometimes they change it up and they say, hey, whoever wins is going to be the mid card #1 contender for WrestleMania, etc., like that. So
LA, like I said before, months ago, guys, they put LA Knight in that spot too quickly.
Yeah,
like they should as soon as they put him to wrestle the Roman. When was it in the Survivor Series?
Yeah.
Like I was like, this is way too soon. They should have waited. Keep him in the mid card a little longer. Give him a good opponent. But we'll see where they go from here.
Yeah,
well,
I agree on that.
I don't have any more thoughts on Roman Reigns if Fatal 4-Way. You guys or no?
Who gives a fuck about Roman Reigns? Next,
the Tribal Chief. He is number 4 on the list, I guess. Okay, so next match, which not really much of a gimmick match, but we had Logan Paul versus Kevin Owens, the United States Championship, which I'm surprised that's actually followed, the Universal title, but I mean, shockingly enough, it did, right? Again, Logan Paul, who is more of an attraction than anything else. I would say he's basically like Brock Lesnar, but the YouTube version, I guess. I don't know. I mean, I thought the feud leading up to this was all right. I didn't really care to see this match. I think Kevin Owens has everyone's respect as far as him being one of the top guys in the company, right? To put him against a guy like Logan Paul, though, where Logan Paul is just kind of shitting on people that have done this for many years and saying, I didn't have to fucking do this, like for 20 years. Yada, yada,
Get him out of there. That's what I'm saying. But right. I will say this though, the finish, I think the finish was the right thing to do. That was the only way that Logan could say he legitimately retained his title without Kevin Owens being pulled or drug under some bullshit.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I knew that one of his buddies, one of those entourage guys, was gonna come out with the stupid ass Prime Reaps again, because I don't know what's going on with him and Prime. I know, I guess Prime is like his drink or whatever. That.
It's his drink.
But I'll tell you this much: I could send you pictures at the retail store that I work at, where they just have end caps full of it. No one buys that shit, dude. Honestly. At first they did, but then people got over it real quick. So I don't know. I mean, but anyways,
Dollar Tree.
Right there, to me, there was really no notable spots in this match until towards the end, where they started busting out the brass knuckles. Match was over. Kevin Owens put Logan Paul through the table. So who knows if this is going to continue the feud or not. But I guess he still got the last laugh, Kevin Owens. I mean, nothing really too crazy though. I mean, I didn't see Logan Paul jumping off the top rope with his phone, doing any type of stupid social media skits that he normally does, right? You have to there's some sort of respect there for Logan Paul because the guy, again, hasn't done this that long, but he's been in so many top high profile matches already. It's kind of crazy, like that they trust him. It's kind of like a Bad Bunny, right? Or they bring him in once or twice a year, and he doesn't disappoint though. Some of the matches are actually pretty decent. I think it's one of those deals where people are gonna hate him no matter what. I don't know if people are ever gonna really like Logan Paul as a wrestler or just being involved in the company.
When I heard he was coming to WWE at first, I was like, oh goodness,
yeah.
Because he doesn't have the best reputation online, but honestly, man, dude's a prodigy.
He does. He does pretty good. Like, I would give him that from every other fly by nightly type person that comes in just because they're a recognized face, and you see them get put in a match and their match is lackluster, or you could just tell, right? They got some pointers from the pros, but they're not really comfortable in it. Logan Paul, love him or hate him, right? And I dislike the dude. But I got to give him props, though. You could tell he trains for this. He does take it serious. He is putting his effort into it because what he does in the match, from his moves and everything else, it looks natural. He is fully training for it. So you can really see that aside from all the bullshit that happens on social media, as far as him being an in-ring competitor, he actually is taking that seriously. So that I'll give him his credit on that. But just take the strap off him.
It reminds me of Kurt Angle. It reminds me a lot of Kurt Angle and even Ronda Rousey when they just picked it up like that, and not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
I'll put them in that boat.
Not a lot. Yeah, again, not a lot of people can come into the company like that and do what he's done so far, and get as much heat as he has also, which is pretty crazy, right? Him and Dom are probably the two top guys that get booed in the company currently. So again, shout out, kudos to that, I guess. We'll see what happens with the United States title going forward. I'm hoping that there is a United States title match at WrestleMania, right? I feel like there's been times where they just kind of skip the mid cards completely. Let's hope that doesn't happen this year. We'll see what happens, and again, any more comments on this one before we go into the main event here?
Real quick, if I were booking, I would make Logan Paul a hybrid of Ric Flair and the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase. I'd have him walking around in a suit, holding his belt in his arm with an entourage and just being the most arrogant prick ever. I think that would be money.
That would fit him. Yeah. That's a good one, man. You ever thought about being his manager? You should hit him on freaking Twitter and just be like, dude, I got ideas for you.
Right. Speaking about that, I got a hypothetical question for you. I asked this for my brother. We had a good laugh. What would you do if y'all were in the Rumble and they said, hey, everybody sign up before you come in? It's required and you might win a prize. What if the prize was a bunch of management and referees ran to your seat and said, hey, come on, it's your turn to go in the Rumble. It's your turn. What would you do?
Oh, my God, man.
I think I would probably pull a Pat McAfee and just jump over the top rope after looking at Omos for a few seconds and then just jumping the heck out.
I mean, I have no formal training and to do that, but I wouldn't jump over and eliminate myself. I would just play in the moment and just kind of be like that fantasy of fans that are like, if I could be in the Rumble, what would I do? And I would try to eliminate Omos, which would probably get me eliminated in 10 seconds, right? But it would be like the fan that gave it his all in 10 seconds, right? Your 10 seconds of fame.
I know how to bump and I know how to hit the ropes. The thing that would worry me is I would do it, but I would have to somehow, whoever's going to eliminate me, I would tell them, look, throw me out, put your hand on the back of my neck and throw me out. The proper way to throw someone out is one hand on the back of their head, one on their lower back.
Yeah.
Just so they can land properly. Do not clothesline me over the top rope because that's going to be a mess. That's all I would say.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't really see a lot of that in this year's Rumble match. A lot of the clotheslines over the top rope. I think we saw it maybe once or twice in the men's Rumble, but that was it. But yeah, that would be what I would do as far as if they were to actually select a fan, Yeah, I don't know.
One final thing.
Stuff like that before, but the angle was that the fan that they picked was actually a wrestler.
Oh yeah, Santino.
Yeah, Santino, Earthquake.
Yeah.
The best example is Earthquake when they said, "Hey, come out here, sit on the Ultimate Warrior's back and do a couple push-ups," and then he did he attacked him instead.
Oh wow.
Final thing today, United States Championship match. Kevin Owens' new merch should be Kevin Throw It Kevin. That's all I'm gonna say. If you don't pin Logan Paul, get that brass knuckles.
Yeah, that was disappointing. I'll give my final comments on that. That he wasn't smart enough to throw it because Kevin, he's been heel like pretty much like 70% of his career in the WWE. So like he knows those heel tactics. He knows better to do something like get rid of the weapon or hide it or do something, put it in your trunks. That he had time. He had time to do all of it. So it's like, bro, like. Get the referee to turn his head away for 2 seconds, right? Or I don't know, just little things here and there.
With Kevin, I wouldn't turn him heel for a while because there's too many heels right now and too many tweeners. So they need to keep him face for a while, in my opinion.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But he needed to throw those brass knucks. But like I said, he had to keep it. He had to get caught with it. It's the only legitimate way that Logan Paul would retain, where the fans would accept it. That's the last thing you want is the fans to not accept the outcome of the match. But I guess we can move on to the men's rumble now.
Moving on. So, the first 2 entries to the men's rumble was Jay and Jimmy Uso. I didn't expect them to be actually 1 and 2. That's something I really never thought about. I knew they were both going to be in the rumble, but I figured they would both end up like face to face, like at one point, but not 1 and 2 though.
I love the fact they came in at 1 and 2 because that was just a perfect way to just start it off.
Yeah. Did you see the way Jimmy? Yeah, Jimmy's like death stare to his brother over here, like no yeet, dog, no yeet.
It didn't make sense though. I mean, if you're gonna come in with that much aggression, then keep that aggression throughout the rumble. Like I felt that Jimmy downplayed himself when he started letting every other heel attack Jay, and then come in with that stupid smile and shake my hand, like we're a team now, and then they would some would just slap the shit out of it.
Yeah, pretty much. That went on for pretty much like half the match.
He was made into a joke. Like, oh my god, dude, you're going down in status, man. Jimmy, I think needs somewhat of a push, but like not a heavy push like they're putting behind Jay, but something. You know what I mean? Like, don't play yourself to be one of those clown cards.
I think what killed it was that he went back to the bloodline, like with his tail between his legs. Like he was just like, oh, you know what? There's nothing for me as a singles competitor, so I'm just gonna do this, right? I could see him being more of a serious guy if he wants to be, or like the heelish, like the opposite to Jay. Jay's the face, right? Jimmy being Jimmy could be a really good heel, and I would want to believe it, but it's just like when you have Solo being put higher than him, and he's been there for much longer than his other brother. It's just like, well, you're just kind of just there for the paycheck now,
Yeah, that's how I feel about Jimmy right now. That's why I was like, it was pretty stupid for him to go back to the bloodline. I mean, honestly,
I disagree. I disagree. I don't think Jimmy's that good of a heel at all. I think that honestly, it shows that Jay's the far superior wrestler. I feel like Jimmy just needs a tag team partner, not Jay, because Jay's I think is doing good. I agree with the part that it was a little weird that they just had him. Try to slap hands with everyone attacking Jay. And that's kind of normal part of a rumble, but he definitely overkilled it. You can see that once or twice, but not 10 or 11 times.
Exactly. Jay is Shawn Michaels and Jimmy's Marty Jannetty.
There you go. That's a good one.
That's the analogy there.
Yeah, except the only thing is that they don't give him credit, but Marty was equally as good as Shawn.
Oh yeah, he was.
As far as the ring, just the ring stuff.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's go on. As far as the actual number of entries, right? I'm just going to give you guys some names, right? And then we can spin off whatever names you want to talk about here. Number 3, Grayson Waller. Number 4, Andrade. Number 5, Carmelo. Someone misspelled this. It's Carmelo Hayes. 6, number 6, Shinsuke Nakamura. Number 7, Santos Escobar. Number 8, Karrion Kross. Number 9, Dominic Mysterio. And then I'll leave it at 10, Carlito.
It's a good start. That's a good lineup.
Yeah, a lot of people. I was telling my buddy, I was like, I feel like this is the Latino portion of the the Rumble because you had Andrade return, right, which he got a pretty big pop, right? I think.
Nobody
Santos
will care after that.
Yeah, Santos at number 7, and then Dominic, who again is Rey Mysterio's son, and then Carlito, which we had a few little spots. You had the stare down between Santos and Andrade, right, where he was like, we're former, I think they were both in Lucha Underground together, maybe, or maybe AAA at some point in their career. I don't remember. Dominic Mysterio, who just got the loudest of boos when he came out Dominic. As well.
I love Dominic Mysterio.
Carlito, who has the worst entrance music that I have ever heard.
Why did they go to that? Why did they go to that?
I don't know why they changed it. Probably because of that the original guy that probably made his song, that Jim Johnson guy or whatever. They probably don't want to pay him. They don't want to pay him his money. Probably there's probably some sort of rights going on there. So it's just kind of stupid in my opinion what they're doing with that. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, those first 10 entries, Nakamura, I thought Nakamura was going to do a little more in this Rumble. A little bit disappointing. Carmelo Hayes was probably the standout in those first 10, though. I think he lasted a good 30, 35, 40 minutes. I think he was pretty much in it through half the Rumble.
Yeah.
Mysterio as well. I think Dominic was one of the final I think 8 participants if I recall correctly. And that's because I think most of the Judgment Day got eliminated before he did. So I was just kind of tripping out there. I was like, what? Dominic still, or Tom and Nick was still in the Rumble, whatever you want to call that.
Dominic, man, I give it to him that being in the Rumble, he didn't resort to the Jimmy. I'm just gonna call it the Jimmy now because Jimmy was pretty much bitch throughout the entire Rumble. I thought Dominic was going to do the same thing. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he just kind of took a look at it and surveyed the whole thing. Like Jimmy's walking around trying to get everyone's assistants to kick the crap out of Jay. So he wasn't going to act like the bitch. He actually I thought he did pretty decent for what his character allows him to do as far as where he stands.
No, definitely. Okay. So let me go through the next 10 competitors, and then again we'll throw out names. So number 11, Bobby Lashley. Number 12, Ludwig Kaiser. Number 13, Austin Theory. 14, Finn Balor, another member of the Judgment Day. Number 15, Cody Rhodes. Number 16, Bronson Reed. Number 17, Kofi Kingston. Number 18, Gunther. Gunther. Number 19, Ivar, and then number 20, Braun Breaker.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh
my God.
Yeah.
Man.
So, I think the whole Bobby Lashley and Karrion Kross, I think deal got involved in this Rumble, and neither of those guys were in the Rumble very long. I think they kind of went at it with each other, and of course, they both got eliminated pretty quickly. Finn Balor, even though I think he had a few little spots in the Rumble, there was kind of really for a guy that was the first Universal Champion, I really feel I want to see that mean side that he had when he was feuding with Seth Rollins last year, right, where he was just giving him beatdowns. It's hard. It's a little unbelievable, though. I hate it because his stature, I feel affects him as far as being a main event talent. But there's that. Cody Rhodes at number 15, which was last year's winner. I don't know.
But he sits up there with Stone Cold, back-to-back wins.
Correct.
Kofi Honestly, Kingston. That feud with Karrion and Bobby, why should I care about it?
Right.
Honestly, it's
it's a filler. It's something in between. Yeah.
Those are going to be pre-show matches at the WrestleMania probably. Braun Breaker probably was the standout in this 10, obviously. Of course, Kofi Kingston as well. Didn't really have a spot this year from what I recall. I don't remember seeing any crazy
he didn't do anything crazy.
He didn't do anything crazy. I don't even recall him getting eliminated. I had to ask one of my other buddies. I was like, did Kofi get eliminated? And he's like, yeah, Kofi got eliminated. I was like, okay, then it must have happened really quick because I just didn't.
Kofi made me a liar. Kofi Kingston, you made me a liar. Yeah. I'm saying it directly to him because my daughter was watching and I'm like, when she saw Kairi Sane hang off the ring like that, I told her there's other wrestlers who do these crazy re-entrances from not being eliminated. Naomi did one. And I was like, Kofi Kingston's known for this. he gets thrown out, but like just lands somewhere where his feet doesn't touch the ground, and then finds an unorthodox way back in. So when he was in the Rumble, my daughter was watching him closely to see what he would do, and
nothing happened. Going back also to the women's Rumble really quick, Naomi was also one of those that would do like little stunts like that. She didn't do anything this year though, nothing even close. I was like, oh man. But I guess they probably, just threw it out this year, and they was like, we kind of messed up too many times on this already for it to happen. But let's maybe they'll do it again in another Rumble. But hey, Kofi, this being his 17th Rumble, being second most all time, pretty crazy.
Yeah. And then we're 3 years away from the 40th Rumble. So I expect
CM Punk was looking old.
CM Punk was looking old.
I like that. Yeah, he's up there in age.
In 3 years, it's the 40th Rumble. So I expect
crazy.
A lot of craziness.
Yeah, so we'll get into CM Punk as we get further in here. We're going down the list here. Braun Breaker, I'm sorry, which too many names that sound identical here, was kind of the standout. Of course, he had some monster-looking spears in this match, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
I was kind of like wow. Also, Gunther, there was at one point there was a chop fest between him and one of the other guys. I forget who the other guy was, but they were kind of like who can chop harder, basically. I don't know if you guys caught that or not. There was was
that towards the end, like when it was
towards the end.
Punk and Cody that was taking the chops.
Yeah, they were both taking the chops. Who was the other guy?
It was Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, it was Drew McIntyre. Man, Drew's chops were nasty also. I was like, oh my god, like I was feeling it through the screen. I had my surround sound connected, or my other speakers connected to the TV, because I was like, man, I want to feel like I'm there in the arena, so I want to hear the crowd, and I want to get the gist of that. And man, dude, those chops were just lethal in my opinion. It's crazy, man. Let's see the next 10. I guess we'll get into that, right? Omos number 21. The special guest entry, which I believe this was probably supposed to be Brock Lesnar's entry, was number 22. It was Pat McAfee. And then JD McDonagh, which who knows? No one. I think he probably is going to be
JD McDonald.
JD McDonald, right? He got eliminated very quickly, by the way. I don't know if his was like there with Santino's, but if you go back and watch, he literally got clotheslined right out of it as soon as he got in. So, but I think Santino probably still one up some. Of course, R-Truth also was the next one in line. We have The Miz, Damian Priest at number 26, number 27, CM Punk, Ricochet at number 28, which I've noticed the past couple of years that Ricochet is actually always drawing like late numbers. I don't know what's going on there. Last year he was like in the mid-20s as well. Drew McIntyre at number 29, and then of course, even though a lot of people were disappointed in this one, I wasn't disappointed. Number 30, Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn, I wasn't disappointed by that. I honestly enjoyed Sami Zayn in there, and I thought he went pretty hard on Drew, man. The haluva kick, man. I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, he had a few spots. I wish he would have been. I wish he would have been like one of those like Final Four also, but he was eliminated a little bit for that. R-Truth spot with Dominic was probably my favorite part of the Men's Rumble match. Was him pretending to tag in Dom. He's like, tag me in, bro. Tag me. Like
Dom actually played along.
He did it. He did it. I was just like, what the F, right? What's going on, right? I thought that was hilarious. I think that was probably one of the funnier spots of the night.
Yeah,
R-Truth is always going to be entertaining. I really hope R-Truth gets into the WWE Hall of Fame. Like, if not this year, soon within the next 5 years.
He has to get him in the Hall of Fame, and then give him an award for getting the most superstars to freaking break character.
Yeah,
he fucking does it so well.
Yeah, he's so good at it, and he's just. He could probably be a stand-up comedian if he wanted to be. Who knows?
He got Brock to break character. He got Paul Heyman to break character.
Yeah. No, yeah, definitely.
Crazy.
Let's see. The Miz, number 25. I'm trying to tell myself, like, really, what left does the Miz have to do in the company, right? He's been doing this for close to 20 years, also. I think he's one of those. He's probably in the Dolph Ziggler position now, where he's just kind of an enhancement talent for a lot of the new guys coming in. But I mean, he's still keeping himself. relevant to some degree, where he is still getting in on a lot of the premium live event matches, or he's having some sort of matches or some sort of. So I got to give The Miz credit for, still doing it and still being, I guess, relevant over the past like 5 years, because I think that's very hard, especially with all the talent that has come into the company. Yeah. Damian Priest at number 26, which this was kind of a spot where I was kind of questioning. I was like, why is he even in the Rumble? He has the Money in the Bank briefcase. Yeah, you know what I mean? And I kind of hated that there was no tease with him like in the Fatal 4-Way match either. He didn't go out at all during the Fatal 4-Way match. Nothing, like he wasn't there spectating or anything to kind of give you guys like, some sort of, I guess thing where, where he's going to cash in and Roman Reigns might have like to deal with this, if this does happen, right? Which I was just, again, shocked. Why isn't this happening? Like this little things that they kind of left out. CM Punk at number 27. So I'm just going to say this, this is my thought and this is my opinion only. I'm not trying to be biased. Like some guy said in the chat over here. I don't know. He's saying he's hearing too many bias. Punk looked like he was really winded within like the first like 5 minutes of him being in there. And it's crazy because I know like he hasn't been wrestling a full-time schedule. Like I know he hasn't done a house show. He did a few house shows with the Madison Square Garden stuff in New York. But obviously, it's going to take time. I don't know if WWE is going to use CM Punk like consistently, like every week or every other week, right? So far, it's just he's just been showing up and talking, right? Which he's getting a lot of views. There's a lot of buzz around CM Punk. And I knew he was going to be one of the final two, right? I knew it was going to be between him and Cody.
They gave that away. They gave that away with him and the Cody standoff. Who's going to be the final two in it?
Yeah.
Which, I will say this, and it's just as me, someone who's been watching wrestling since I was 4 years old. They made the right move of having CM Punk thrown out that way. Like, people kind of like. Cody's story it's got a lot of fans behind it. You can't forget that part. Like it's not, when Cody went out there and he poured his heart out about what happened to his dad and how, the Reynolds family is the legacy that he wants to try and not only win for his dad, for his brother, but for himself to win that big one. Right, like the fans have been on that journey when it's taken left turns here and right turns here. Like he feuded with Brock, he got caught up in this storyline, got caught up in that storyline. Like we need it to happen, and Cody needed to win the Rumble to be able to choose who he faces, which is Roman, the guy that he literally had beat but got screwed because Solo interfered. Punk is gonna get his match with Seth Rollins, regardless if he wins the Rumble or not. He's gonna get it because Seth wants it also. Like, and I also feel like too, because of all the crap that Punk had done away from WWE when he was really heated with them, like there were so much rumors that were saying that they were going to have Punk face Rollins. He was going to face him for the World Heavyweight Championship, but he was supposed to lose to him, kind of like a good faith, like, you are back with WWE. You're on board with us. This is a better way for Punk to show that, losing the Rumble. Because if they decide to put the belt on him, if they decide to have Seth drop it, which honestly, I love CM Punk, but it would be a mistake for Seth to drop the belt to him.
I was wearing the wrong shirt yesterday, by the way.
I feel like once like they're both like down, I think that's when Damian Priest is gonna cash in.
Yeah. He's gonna cash. I think he's gonna cash in at WrestleMania against who? Who knows? I feel that's gonna be the question, right? Who he cashes in on. But my take on this, as far as the Cody and CM Punk thing, also is I thought those, once it was just them two, that's when like the Rumble felt like it was the Rumble. As far as the men's Rumble goes, one thing that I really hated about the men's Rumble was that there wasn't a lot of like close spots. Like people were just getting eliminated or thrown out pretty quick. It wasn't like, like people were hanging off and, people were struggling like the female Rumble. I think that's what I enjoy about the female Rumble more is that, there was a little more teases here and there when it came to the eliminations. The men's Rumble was a lot quicker. And maybe that might go back to Mill Hustle's thing where like maybe the women's Rumble went too long. So they had to kind of cut some of the timeout, right, or the spots, right, which I'm just like that doesn't make it a Rumble if you don't see stuff like that, though. So, but I really enjoyed Punk and Cody once they just kind of got into it with each other, and even the Final Four, right? It was Gunther, it was Drew, it was Punk, and it was Cody Rhodes. And I thought oh my gosh, man, the beatdowns that Cody and CM Punk were taking from Gunther and Drew, I'm like, how is this even possible? And what I hated though was that like the way Drew and Gunther got eliminated, it was very lackluster. It just kind of it was really quick. There was no emotion into it or anything like that. I think Drew was playing a great heel during the match, so was Gunther, right? Again, I'm just like, what? I don't know. Who knows where the story goes with a lot of these other characters go? Like as far as like Gunther with the Intercontinental Championship, now that he's not in the picture again at WrestleMania, which I think he will be probably next year. Or maybe somewhere down the line this year. You never know. You might see Gunther in a world title match.
I feel like Gunther might win the Money in the Bank this year.
That could be it also, and he might win it with still being the Intercontinental Champion also, which would be pretty crazy. I would love to see him cash in and be a double champion, just like a lot of other people have in the past, right? That would be pretty crazy as well.
He could do it. He could be up there with the Ultimate Warrior.
It could happen, right? And you never know. He might have to just drop the IC title, just give it up like some of the other champions have in the past. Any other takeaways from the Rumble guys? Any other favorite portions that you guys want to talk about or spots?
I just want to see where this goes, because I feel like wherever there's a title change, like if Roman somehow beats Cody at WrestleMania, or Punk wins against Rollins and wins the belt, I feel like Damian is the spotlight's going to be on Damian. Like, who are you going to cash in on?
Yeah,
I think Damian's going to cash in on. So like, this is the way that I see it when it goes to the World Heavyweight Championship. If Seth drops it to Punk, I honestly feel like it's going to be like an Alberto Del Rio 2.0 version where Damian comes out and then basically cashes in on Punk.
Yeah,
which would because it would be like a fresh way where Punk wins the title, Seth drops the belt. I guess you can say what some would say would be like a respectable way to drop it to Punk, which I don't agree with that. But then Damian takes it, so it's a fresh face with a strap to carry the company on going forward. So to me, that's where I would see it going. Like Damian Priest, love him or hate him, I think that we need someone new holding the belt, someone that's not that you would think would be the one that the company would back behind right away. So give it to Damian, or shit, if freaking Gunther wins Money in the Bank, give it to him. Like, he did great as Intercontinental Champion. I would love to see him stay in his heel persona, but be the World Heavyweight Champion. That can open up doors for other people to kind of step up and become number one contenders and have good feuds and things like that. Like, we just need a fresh turn is the way that I feel that WWE needs to go.
Yeah, and I think going forward also, like we really need to focus on the other championships, especially being defended at WrestleMania, because you're right. I don't want to see the tag titles just kind of go to waste. Last year, the tag titles were in main event of night one, and that meant something to a lot of people, right? Not to take away anything from the women's championship that was originally the main event for that night, but even then, it's like, let's focus more on the tag titles. I feel like there's really nothing going on with the tag belts currently. As well as Gunther has been kind of up and down with the IC title, but not really. I feel like he's just one of those champions that's just kind of there. United States champion as well. I'm hoping Logan Paul gets more exposure with that, and let's see who ends up getting that match with him. I'm positive he's going to probably hold until WrestleMania. Let's hope that somebody with a big name or a new up and comer.
Put Jey Uso in the running
spot.
Jay against Logan
that's a
Paul.
possibility. The only thing is one's on Raw, the other's on SmackDown. So who knows? I mean, but again, that could factor into the Elimination Chamber, right? Especially if the men's match is set for the title, right? They might go with the mid-card title, right? Yeah. As far as that goes. Again, the Women's Tag Team Championships, which I believe are now held by the Kabuki Warriors, which they just won on Friday Night SmackDown.
No, I don't know about that.
Yeah, so again, I feel like that the female tag titles are like right at the bottom where the 24/7 titles 24/7 title was a couple years back, where it's just like, okay, like let's make it mean something, right? Let's make these championships mean something. I don't want to just see random people just get the titles and then no one really cares about them, right? Let's make
they gotta
matter.
Yeah, they gotta build this shit up right. Like, that's what I mean. I agree with you. That's where I feel like whoever's writing backstage and whoever's doing all this stuff, man, it's like, yes, I know the two top titles, obviously you want to keep them on top. You're not ever going to put them below, but like, you have other champions too. You can build a great product around all these different championship belts you have, since you have so many. If not, then I'm sorry to say it, but consolidate it. Like, what the hell, man?
Yeah, like for real. Like, I mean, it's understandable. Like that. I mean, I don't think it's gonna ever be separate again, though, because now that we have Raw going to Netflix and SmackDown staying on the USA Network Netflix. Next year, it's gonna be like they're
I feel like they've booked themselves into a corner where having a dual roster on one is impossible now. But they used to always have one roster, and there was several channels. It's just, I think the roster's too big. So
yeah. So I mean,
that's just from a fan thinking as a fan. I don't think that they could ever go back to a single roster.
Like, I would love
a bunch of people.
I would love for SmackDown to get a 3-hour bump and just have it as a 3-hour show. Now that the Raw's going to Netflix, it's not even going to be on network television anymore. So why not put SmackDown as a 3-hour show? Especially because if Raw can get the 3-hour time on USA Network, then I don't see the reason why SmackDown can. Especially if you think about it, right? SmackDown is technically the A show currently. It has been since for a couple of years now. But anyways, I don't know, guys. Any final thoughts on the Rumble before we maybe go into the Netflix deal, or if you want to talk about the McMahon allegations again before we
do it better next year? That's all I'm gonna say. Do it.
Yeah,
better.
I think overall the Rumble probably for me got like a 3-star out of 5-star this year.
I'll go 2.5.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2.5, but I was like, I'm being nice here, so I'm giving it a 3-star. Curvin Abreu, I don't know. He's commenting on the Deathlock site. He's saying, I see too many biased. So I don't know what you mean by too many biased. We're just giving our thoughts and opinions here. So I don't know what you mean by that. I'm not.
Hey, everybody's biased, right? I would say you're biased. You have your way of thinking of things, and you think your way is right. That's obviously being biased. So every human is.
Yeah, and again, I don't know what you mean by that. I mean, we're all just wrestling fans here. And again, I'm not favoring one person over the other. I'm trying to give everyone their spotlight when it comes to certain things. Now, if you want to talk about somebody, make comment on something. You're just saying that we're biased here. I see too many bias. What are we biased about? What do you give us some facts, right? Or give us what are we saying that's causing you to say this? I want to know. I'm not trying to call you out. I'm not trying to bash you or anything.
No, it's discussion.
It's a question. Yeah, it's a discussion, right? We're all wrestling fans here.
Nothing's taboo in the comments. Go ahead and go nuts. If you think that I'm biased and you call me a jackass, go for it. I don't care.
No one's defecating. No one's defecating on another person's head over here. Okay, is all I'm saying. So
move on to this Vince thing, because I haven't been following that. What
does Vince do now? Do you want to give him the summary on that?
That's okay. This is gonna be great. You started with that.
Yeah.
It's insanity, dude. The things that this lady is alleging, are just so bad, and they're so much worse than the allegation of that Chris Jericho has against him right now.
Oh,
but it's just you got to read the article.
Yeah, and the text messages.
It is hard to read.
Yeah,
it is hard to read. But this girl, I'll sum it up. Like, apparently Vince was basically her pimp.
Oh, okay. So that's why the headlines are like trafficking,
running trains on her, doing what the fuck is the word? When somebody's acting something. I'm not gonna say the word acting. There's a word for it that I'm thinking.
Do you guys think that it's right up Vince's alley that he's guilty of it? Like, honestly.
I mean, we won't know until this thing, if it goes to court or if it continues to be in the spotlight, right? Who knows? Because Vince is denying a lot of the stuff. I mean, he made a statement before he stepped down saying, like, basically that, that the things that she's saying are out of context, this and that, right? So who knows? I mean, once person,
I heard, like,
perception is another.
That there was simulated RAPE, that she got shitted on her hair, that she was passed around to other people, but he showered her with gifts. Speaking of shower, she took a golden shower, and sent it to Brock Lesnar, and Brock Lesnar said, "I like this B word." Like,
what the hell?
Yeah. So there was. That's why we didn't see Brock Lesnar this year. Also, it was because, like, his name got thrown into the mix, and I think it just looks bad on his side, and And now that you think about it, like a lot of names are going to be, maybe more names are going to be come out within the next couple of months. Maybe I would hate to see wrestlers' names get tarnished in this, right? Aside from Brock Lesnar.
This could become like, I don't know if you remember the speaking out movement a couple years ago.
Yeah.
Which was like wrestling's version of Me Too. That shit, that flipped the industry upside down like crazy. And like a lot of people that I have worked with in wrestling were part of that list. And I'm like, oh my God. Some of them I wasn't surprised. But a lot of people, like a lot of shows were canceled that weekend. People, got kicked out of the business. And it's just, it was all some pretty crazy allegations, but this Vince thing is far worse than that too.
It's crazy. Yeah. It really drew a lot of people away from possibly being interested in the WWE product as well. In my opinion, I think that there's people that just hate Vince, so they don't want to associate with the product itself, which I don't believe that's that's whatever they want to do is what they want to do. I'm still going to continue to watch the product because I grew up on it, and I feel that doesn't.
Yeah, you can separate like that type of stuff.
He's gone. Enjoy it. He's gone.
Yeah,
he's gone.
I think they'll very sporadically mention Vince on TV now.
Yeah. If not never, probably never. He's never going to be.
I don't think they'll cancel him completely. I mean, he didn't Chris Benoit the girl, but
but
they like a lot of the tenured people there, other than Triple H, but like the last guy that's there from the original administration is Bruce Pritchard, and people are calling for him to get fired because of his influence. They think that because he's still there, that he's still going to have Vince's ear.
Yep. I mean, Ronda Rousey made a tweet about it yesterday saying, like, as long as Bruce Pritchard is there, that Vince is always going to have some sort of involvement in the company, right? And if you guys watched the media scrum last night, I don't know if you guys did or not, they were asking a lot of questions to Triple H. I think even Cody got asked a question about, like, what happens now, what, like, going forward, like, what changes in the WWE, what are you guys going to do to prevent all of this? And Triple H was kind of defecting from a lot of the questions, right? But he just said, I'm sure legally he has to, right? Because it does make the company look bad if he makes any type of comments, right? Especially because his father-in-law is involved, right? I feel like it's kind of crazy because it's like, I was reading some sort of, and I don't know if this is true or not, that Shane left the company a long time ago because he knew what was going on, and he actually tried to get his dad to stop, several times. Along with that's why he just sold his stock, whenever he left the company originally. And I could see that being true, of course, right? Because I mean, he obviously was working at the Titan Tower, or whatever you want to call it, I guess, WWE headquarters, so he got to see a lot of that. And apparently Vince wanted him to become like his mini-me and do a lot of the same shit that he was doing as well, and he rejected it. He looked the other way. But I'm just thinking to myself, why did it take so long for stuff like this to come out, right? Like, it's just crazy. Like, if this has been going on for years, right? I'm talking about like years.
Honestly, I think maybe this girl probably spoke to a psychiatrist or something.
Yeah.
And the psychiatrist encouraged her to speak on it. And if that's what happened, the psychiatrist did their job.
I mean, that answers Tyrell's question, because he asked why did she stay if it's true. And like, you know what, when it comes to sexual abuse, people just don't always have the courage to kind of speak up on it from jump. Sometimes they need to collect their thoughts, and they need a support team behind them in order to feel the courage to do it. And that's just human. That's just human, mentality. So if she stayed through it, manipulation.
This is one of the worst cases of Stockholm syndrome.
Yeah.
You familiar with Stockholm syndrome?
Oh yeah, I know what Stockholm syndrome is, and like I said, it's just one of those things that we can't really say from her perspective, or even I wouldn't even try to guess from her perspective why she stayed through all of that, went through all of that, if it's true, right? Like, I wouldn't like to think that Vince would do something like that, but again, you just never know, right? I mean, it doesn't look good, even in the sense when you think back with the whole thing with, Shawn Michaels, Sonny, and all that stuff that was happening backstage. I mean, so it's not foreign to the backstage scenery of things like this happening. So that's what even makes it really look bad. Like, I'm not going to say that Vince is guilty, I'm not going to say that he's innocent.
Right.
It's just
because we don't know. We're
situation.
not. Yeah, we're not. I mean, all we can do is just give our opinions on it and what's and have our thoughts on what's right and what's wrong with what's happening. And there's been a lot of other podcasters that have been getting a lot of heat for talking about it. Right. Me and Mill Hustles did do a live stream the other night. Luckily, there was no one in the chat, so we didn't get a lot of heat. Right.
You just gave it to other people to watch.
I would the line habitually as always. But.
Yeah, I would go watch Jim Cornette's take on this if you haven't heard a lot from this Tito, just because like I just enjoyed his out of like most of the other ones. A lot of the other people were just like hating on Vince, which of course rightfully so, right? Especially if all of these allegations are true. But coming from a guy that actually worked with Vince and was in those, saw certain things, when he was working with Vince and during the company at a specific time, I think the guy that's his co-host on the show was asking him like, "Did you ever see any of this and this and that?" And Jim Cornette, gave his his answers, right? He said yes or no, right? When I think most of the answers were no, though. He's like, "Did you ever think Vince would do any of this?" And he was just like, I've been to Vince's house, you know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those deals where it's like, okay, like maybe Vince had a very, very tight, hold on just like who he wanted to see that dark side.
They need to ask Bruce at this point.
Yep, I think
if anyone has seen anything, it was Bruce.
It's going to be Bruce.
They need to also ask Jim Ross, which I'm sure if that was happening around Jim Ross would probably have left.
Yeah. Also, I mean, this brings questions as to why Kevin Dunn left the company within the last couple of weeks as well, right? Because again, Vince has been kind of gone for a while now, but it's like, well, Kevin Dunn was like basically the number 2 guy to Vince as well. So if there was any involvement there, right? Maybe he knew that something was going to happen, and maybe he decided to leave the company before things got worse, you know what I mean? Or before this came out, right? Who knows? There's just a lot of questions that have not been answered. And who knows if we'll ever really know the truth when it comes to all of this, right? Of course, one person can say things, text messages could be leaked, right? But, I could have someone in my contact saying Vince on there, right?
Yeah.
With a bunch of text messages saying like all of this bad shit, right? Again, I don't know. And if you go into those text messages, also like Mill Hustle said a couple of days back, the grammar on that was just kind of horrible. So I don't know if this is this is how Vince would talk, or maybe his schizophrenic, or maybe his alter ego would come out. A lot of people,
like, honestly, based on what I've heard about Vince from people personally, like, I don't think Vince McMahon is the type to sit there and type a whole essay on a text message.
Yeah. Right. I agree, but again, who knows? I don't know. We don't know if this was coming from Vince directly. Let's see. Dargan. I can't say this guy's name.
D'Artagnan.
Yeah. It's going to be Cody versus Roman, and Roman versus The Rock, head of the
I don't see that happening. Cody versus Roman. Yeah. Roman versus The Rock. I don't see that happening. They're not gonna shadow Cody's a championship match with Roman at WrestleMania.
The only thing I can see happening is if it turns into a triple threat somehow and Rock just gets himself involved, and it kind of takes away.
If they do that, fuck the company. Like, The Rock does not need to be in WrestleMania. Like, no.
Well, if you're gonna,
I could see Roman versus Rock on night 1.
Yeah,
and him beating Rock, and then Roman versus Cody the next night.
I don't want The Rock there. Fuck The Rock. I don't want him there. Like, no.
Yeah, now that he's basically a part of the TKO board of directors, as far as like the WWE side goes, who knows what's going to happen when it comes to that? I'm not too keen on what's going to happen. The only thing I see happening is it turns into a triple threat match, and we get a very good triple threat match at the Rumble. Of course, Rock being a part of it is going to put more eyes on it, right? But I think if that does happen, Cody has to win no matter what. Like, Cody has to win that match.
Okay, Dwayne. Do not listen to these guys. You stay out of it. You stay the fuck out of it, Dwayne. I don't want Dwayne in there. I don't want him to freaking like. Yes, I agree with you. It's going to bring more eyes to it, especially if it's a triple threat match, and if they can pull it off and do it, great. Yes, Cody goes over and wins. Awesome. the thing about it is I don't know. I'm kind of sick and tired of like outside people in like 3 ways, 4 ways. Like just do it straight up and just fucking rock the house at WrestleMania. Yeah. Do your best. Cody goes over. Great job, Roman. You did great for fucking almost what 3.5 years
know.
almost.
I have a feeling that Roman's gonna win, but I don't think he will make it. Like as soon as I think if Roman wins at WrestleMania, you can start counting the days to when he loses the belt. Hell, he could lose it that same week on SmackDown.
No, I would say he'd lose it at a pay-per-view, not at a show. So I'd say SummerSlam.
I don't know.
Would be the operative place.
Rumors has it that they do want him to break San Martino's record, but I mean, come on, like how many years is that? What, 6 years as champion?
He already broke one of the records.
He broke his second longest title reign.
I don't think we're going to have Roman as champion for 8 years.
Right? I mean, that's true, especially in an era like this. But you never know. I mean, the way they want it to happen. I mean, who freaking knows?
When Bruno was champion the first time, there wasn't all this technology, and WWF was a regional territory. So
yeah.
Plus, also, I'm pretty sure they weren't having as many shows as they were having compared to now as well.
Yeah.
So.
That too. Yeah.
It's like, how often did Bruno actually defend the belt? Like when he was champion? I mean, obviously I wasn't alive back then to kind of know, but
I guess once a month, maybe.
Yeah, at least maybe like every couple of months, whenever they did their regional stuff. But it's like, I don't know, guys. But again, did you guys have any more comments as far as the Netflix deal goes as well? That's pretty big for WWE going forward as well.
I got one. How's Tony Khan doing?
Did anyone watch Collision? I'm going to a Collision show next Saturday, by the way. So I'm gonna send you guys pictures of how empty my arena will be.
No, I haven't been watching AEW at all, really. Like,
yeah, ever since that stupid tournament had happened, I really haven't been paying attention. I did watch a little bit of that last pay-per-view where MJF dropped the belt to Samoa Joe, but it was one of those deals where I just really haven't been paying attention to the shows either. So. I don't know. The Ololotes.
Cody could win money. I don't think Cody would need to win Money in the Bank. He won the Rumble, so he's going to WrestleMania no matter what. He wouldn't need that. Gunther, I think is, I don't know if we're in the comments talking about what we think. Gunther can win Money in the Bank. I actually think that he is probably going to win Money in the Bank. Who knows? Because I don't know what they're going to do at Elimination Chamber. I don't know if they're going to put any of the main titles like in the chamber. If they do that, and then then champion's got to come out victorious. I don't see Seth losing his at Elimination Chamber, and I don't see Roman losing his at Elimination Chamber. So it'd just be pointless.
Yeah, Seth is not going to compete until WrestleMania, especially with his injury. One person I would like to see more of is Jinder Mahal, right? Don't hinder Jinder. So I could see Jinder being. I could see the Intercontinental title actually being on the line at an Elimination Chamber, and Jinder winning the strap from Gunther, or pinning somebody else, or I don't know. I mean, it's Elimination Chamber, obviously, but like
that would be a good thing.
That would be interesting because I know that they want to do more. I think they want to do more with him. I think I was honestly disappointed that he wasn't in the Royal Rumble this year. By the way, it's like, why the hell put Pat McAfee in? Put fucking Jinder Mahal in, right? Give him some more fucking heat. You know what I mean? Like that's what I want to see. Like he's a really good heel when he wants to be, right? And he knows like he's one of those guys that will just get booed automatically. So it's like, why not put him in the spotlight, especially with Seth gone, with his injury, right? Who knows how long? I mean, obviously he's going to be gone until at least leading up to WrestleMania. He's going to be there. Maybe he's going to be there in the show, but he's not going to be wrestling. He's definitely not going to be wrestling. So they need to, they kind of need to put other people in the spotlight, especially on Monday Night Raw. So who knows? I'm interested to see where that goes, though. Obviously, Cody's going to pick. He's going to pick Roman Reigns. So now let's see what happens with CM Punk as well. I want to see where what happens there. Again, what's going to happen? Who's going to is there going to be some sort of stipulation on the Elimination Chamber? If
probably number one contender, like whoever wins it.
Yeah, that's the only thing I see.
Defended.
Yeah, and of course we're still going to have a women's chamber match as well, I believe, right? They have to throw something in there where if they're going to do a men's, they have to do a women's as well. Where if Bayley is going to pick one of the two, right, which we think. Obviously, I think it's going to be Io Sky. Obviously, I don't think it's going to be Rhea. Then what happens? Yeah, what happens there? as well. Like, what are they going to do with the Raw Women's Championship? Right? Is there going to be a number one? Like, I think it's just going to be a number one contendership all the way around.
Yeah.
As far as that goes, and again, I think that's going to draw away from all of the other championships, though, which kind of sucks. So,
do one championship in the Elimination Chamber. United States title winner, Hornswoggle. Put Hornswoggle in
there. As long as it's not fucking a guy like Grayson Waller or Austin Theory, whatever, then I'll be happy.
Oh God, those two,
I will be happy.
Little bromance. The little bromance is just weird.
I'll be happy. Well, anyways, I don't want to take too much more of y'all's time. I know, I don't know if Tito is working today or he's got.
I'm free all day, dude.
I had asked you, hey, are you gonna go live stream on your other channel? Yeah, because I want to watch your live stream. That's why. Like I'm off today, but
on the tech side of things,
yeah.
No, I mean we can do one if you want to.
I want a 1+12. That's the next Android I want.
The 1+12.
Yep.
Why?
I was impressed by it. Someone at my job actually has one, and he said he was also getting the mid-range version. I think it's the 12R or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm interested. I want to step because I have an S21 FE right now, and yeah, I'm almost ready to upgrade.
I think the saddest thing that I'm seeing a lot of happening, people posting on Twitter, is the Galaxy S24 and its eSIM issues. And that is sad as hell. That is so sad. Like all the hype behind the Galaxy S24 series, all the AI stuff, which kind of aggravates me. Like the AI stuff is cool if you're interested in AI and what it can do. I think it's great that the Galaxy S24 series is pushing that. I just don't like the fact that there's that chance that they're going to charge for it after a year. So once you get used to it for a whole year of using all these AI stuff, then you're SOL when you got to start paying a premium rate for it for monthly access. That's just ridiculous. But I don't know. You want to do it? You want to do a tech podcast on your channel, just specifically tech? Just restart it.
Oh, well, I might take a little break actually, because I got to run a few errands as well. But no, maybe later. Well, if you're free in the evening, maybe. I don't know what I would want to talk about specifically as far as my tech channel. I'll just maybe talk about the phones that I've been using, which are again the Moto G Stylus and then the Motorola Razr, and then of course, what did I get recently that I need to pull out of the car? I left it in my
A15.
Yeah, the A15. So other than that, though,
did you get your A15 issue fixed?
Yeah, I took it to a Metro store, and they basically it was the SIM card I think was damaged or it was scratched up.
Defective.
So it was defective, so
SIM.
I just paid for another SIM card of $10.
Wait, they made you pay?
Yeah, well, it's because I didn't. The initial purchase was online, so I didn't purchase from a store itself.
This should have gave you one for free. Oh, while I have you here on the live, so I'll message you the specific dates I'm going to be in San Antonio, but I'm going to be in San Antonio in March. So if one of those days you want to come up to hang out, man,
let me know because I need time to request days off. You know what I mean? So I can maybe pull something off because I know that's spring break time, right? So my sister might want to go to San Antonio to meet up. I'm gonna pick my mom up from San Antonio, or not San Antonio, but it's a long story. But we were supposed to go to San Antonio this month, but we're not gonna go after all. So I mean, maybe next month if I can get a couple of days off during the weekend, obviously, right? I don't know when you're gonna be there exactly, so we'll see. Yeah,
it's gonna be from I think my wife booked a hotel. So
where are you guys staying? Are you guys staying downtown?
I gotta look back where she got the hotel at, but I know we're there from the 10th through the 14th.
Oh wow, okay, March 10th through the 14th. Let me take a look at that really quick.
Because my kids go to spring break on. Wait, when is the 10th?
it's actually a Sunday, so Sunday through Thursday. You're actually going to be there at the beginning.
Yeah. I'm gonna be there.
Interesting. Yeah, I could maybe try to pull something off there. Maybe just 1 or 2 days. It's just that my brother lives in San Antonio, so he normally likes to just do crap on the weekend. But I can maybe try to get out there one or 2 of those days. Just just come and go kind of thing for me, I guess, since it's only a 3.5 hour drive for me. But again, depending on where you're staying, I guess we'll see. I might end up staying just the night, just to kind of be there and just hang out with my brother as well. You know what I mean? But there's a arcade that I would recommend you going to if you want to take your kids out there. Although I know it's somewhere northwest in San Antonio, so it's called the Otaku Cafe, which is like a Japanese style like anime arcade, but they have like
I'll check it out.
Yeah, they have like a lot of old school stuff there, like a lot of old school arcade games, and then of course they have like more modern stuff where you can like play fighting games and stuff like that also. So
yeah, because we're going to Six Flags and we're going to SeaWorld on one of those days. We're going to SeaWorld, one of those days we're going to Six Flags, and then we're doing the Riverwalk and just kind of exploring San Antonio a little bit more because I've been there once before.
Yeah, like if you're going to like the Riverwalk, like if you it sounds like you guys might be staying somewhere downtown, hopefully, because Riverwalk is like right there. Like you can literally like just walk from a few of the hotels. Like when I stayed there,
guys, I'm out of here.
Okay,
but let's do this again soon.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Don't work too hard at work, man. Sheesh.
Peace.
But yeah, I guess we'll get more into that. We'll get more into it, Tito. Also, once we I guess you figure out your hotel where you're gonna stay and whatnot. So see how that goes. Yeah, but all right, good stream for I guess an hour and a half. My voice is already starting to crack a little bit. That's why. So we'll see what's up. But if you go,
we appreciate you guys. We appreciate you guys for coming through and hanging out with us and listening to our biased.
Yeah, we're super biased today.
I'm totally joking. Don't take offense to it. Whoever said it,
maybe they meant our bias on WWE over AEW. Maybe perhaps I don't know. Who knows?
AEW needs to treat their talent better. That's all I'll say. That's all
I can say is Tony Khan needs to hire writers and someone to actually correctly book the show. Okay, that's all I'm going to say on that. But anyways, guys, we'll go.
Hashtag AEW Mike. Hire Mike for AEW.
Right, hire me. I actually know a guy that's one of that lives where that's from where I live. That he's the Spanish commentary guy for AEW. So he used to do the Ring of Honor stuff back in the day, and Tony Khan hired him to do the Spanish commentary for AEW. So they're actually supposed to be having a show next Sunday where I live, because they're going to have the Collision show here next Saturday. And then like Thunder Rosa, she's going to do like an indie show like in our downtown area. But I'll be working, so I won't be able to go to that show. But I was like that. I mean, I've already got to see Thunder Rosa like at an indie show. Like she's pretty badass. So she's one of my top female talents, obviously, because she's local. She lives in San Antonio. So
yeah.
So we might run into her downtown San Antonio. She goes to the Riverwalk all the time. So you never know. You might see her doing her vlog downtown. If you're down there one of these days in March.
That'd be cool. That'd be hella cool.
Yes, sir. Well, I guess we'll go ahead and sign off, and then again we'll message later if you guys want to do like a tech talk or something like that. We'll see.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
All right, man. You get some rest, enjoy your afternoon, and everybody else. We'll see you guys. Hopefully, you guys enjoyed the podcast.